It's a cheers to friendship, dude.
Cheers to friendship, man. Well, I don't know how much longer I can be friends with you, dude.
Okay, let's get into it,
Yeah.
shall we? Yeah. Welcome to the BuddyCast. I'm here with Alex Gottdiener.
Hey.
Hey. Comedian, lover.
Yeah.
Intaker of chemical products.
Shh.
How would you characterize yourself?
I'd characterize myself as a man who's kind of deconditioned, the deconditioned man. I kind of like to walk through life and accumulate new experiences. And so when I see something really unconventional, I like to jump into it, right?
Right.
So, like, I was by the Dinky the other day. I was by the Dinky train. I see a big stick going up into the Dinky, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why not? Why don't I climb this?
A big stick.
Yeah, stick. So I climb the stick, and I go underneath the Dinky platform. The Dinky goes right under me, So that's what I like to think of myself as, the kind of guy who likes to do unconventional
Stick man.
things. Yeah, stick
Yeah.
man, I got a big stick.
Oh, wow.
Just for the record.
We're really getting off to a tasty start here.
I wouldn't call it tasty. My penis is not. It doesn't taste good.
Wow.
It tastes really bad.
All right, so that was a lot.
It's
That's
not
a lot
enough.
to process.
Yeah.
So that's our listeners' introduction to you as a buddy. How do you remember our friendship starting?
First thing you say the word remember, Sam, you're really throwing me off because my memory is so fantastic, as a lot of people know. All I know is I remember, if I actually were to give you an honest answer, I remember sitting on the couch with a girl and I was just chilling on that couch, and I was looking at you, and I was like, wow, who's this mountain man sitting next to me? I want to talk to him and admire his treasure trail, because he's got a big one.
Yeah. True
And
that.
then we started talking. I realized this buzzo, this wacko sitting next to me, is almost as whacked as I am. And we're both on the same wavelength in that regard,
Same wavelengths.
Both just two funky little guys, just off to some funky shenanigans, recording some unconventional humor and touching each other. Yeah. A lot of touching when we first met.
That's true. That is
Yeah.
true.
I'm a touchy guy.
It's
You're a touchy
interesting.
guy.
I am a touchy guy.
Yeah.
I think that developed in high school with cross country and stuff.
Yeah?
Just like, hey buddy, and
I think I just got really disillusioned with icebreakers.
Yeah.
I think I was so shit and like tired of like saying like, oh hey, like I'm.
What's your major?
What's your name? Give me your CV. No, touch my nips, dude. Then you're gonna
my
get
nips.
close to me.
And then we'll see if we can be friends.
Yeah, exactly. If you touch them well,
I
then
like
maybe we
it.
can be besties.
Do you remember around what time of year that was? That must have been like February or March.
There was snow on the ground. There was snow
Yeah.
on the ground. I remember that.
Okay.
We were walking over to your dorm with a couple of other buds, and we came here to drink.
Whoa. Let's back up a little bit, because I think the cementing of our friendship was definitely when you and the crew came over.
I'd say
to
that
have
was
some
it,
brews for my birthday party.
Yeah,
That was
you,
key.
Pete, Mason. That was definitely it. Yeah.
But as far as the genesis goes, it must have been at least a couple weeks before that, right?
I'd say so. I'd say that we intermittently kind of saw each other and ran into each other, and awkward exchanges would happen, which were not awkward.
Well,
because
to the average viewer, certainly awkward, maybe.
yeah, but I'm not the average viewer. I'm not the average man. I'm not the
that.
average listener. I'm not the average, immortal. So, yeah.
Yeah, some like just very friendly interactions at Terrace, I think.
I think that really
Kinda
solidified
snowballed,
it. Yeah.
Right? And then
I think it's funny how the nonsensical kind of discussions kind of trailed off into sensible discussions
Yeah.
eventually, and then that kind of
Yeah.
cemented our bond as
I think-
besties, right?
yeah. Facts.
Yeah.
True facts.
Hashtag Benghazi.
Oh man. Are you a truther?
I'm a darer.
What do you think about the world, man? How's it doing?
It's fucked.
It's fucked.
It's all fucked. I'm fucked.
You seem
you're
pretty
fucked.
happy about it.
You're a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit. Right? This kid in the room, I don't know his name. He's a piece of shit.
Fuck that guy.
Everyone is a piece of shit. Nabokov, yeah. You listeners best be reading some Vladimir Nabokov, because then you'll know just how shitty the world is. Okay.
All right. I think we've got some layers to break through here.
Dude.
Cut this part out.
What? No.
No?
No.
Talk to me about you in high school. How did you?
Oh God, high school me. Totally
Yeah.
different me. Totally different.
Totally different.
I would walk up to a girl and I'd piss myself a little bit sometimes. And I would really want to be attracted to a girl. And right now I have no refractory period when it comes to orgasms. I can just keep going after I have sex or after I jerk off. I could just instantly get hard again, erect.
Are you serious?
That's because of pent-up horniness, I think, from high school. And I just couldn't interact with women in that way, and I got very, very lucky now. And, I don't know, it's this new phenomenon. So high school me was just very, very quiet around women, and I still kind of am, but I mean to a much lesser degree.
But you're still pretty, right? I mean, you must have been cute
I was still a cutie.
Yeah.
I was still cute. People would still look at me and they'd still go, "Who's that guy over there?" And then they'd talk to me for a minute and they'd be like, "Ew. Ugh.
Ugh.
Ugh." Yeah,
Not
exactly.
good.
Yeah. First thing they come into my room and see all my bird books. They fucking
Bird books?
Yeah, those bitches.
Uh-huh. You like birds?
Do I like birds? I am a bird.
You an ornithologist?
Pretty much.
Bird watching?
I got introduced to the Connecticut warbler when I was 8 years old. I was really, really young. That was a rare bird. I saw it, and then I knew from that moment on that that's what I wanted to get involved in, and study, and I just touch the birds, and catch some birds, and go bird watching.
You like birds?
Yeah.
Dude, how high are you right now?
I didn't smoke, actually. I'm completely sober.
Okay, you're pretty.
I'm completely sober.
This is vanilla Alex right now.
It's weird. I should be
Okay.
higher. I'd be more normal if I was, but.
So talk to me about the sort of persona you have, because you definitely.
I feel like I have a few personas.
Yeah.
Oof. I feel like there's the part of me, the internal part of me, who's a little bit unself-assured, who's like, oh, maybe I'm not. I don't know, projecting myself properly in this certain social context. And then I have a bunch of other
so that's
personas.
that's pretty deep down though.
That's ingrained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's mental.
Yeah, I'm tormented
monologue,
basically.
sort of.
I'm really tormented.
Hey, okay. That's not how you appear in the world though.
Exactly.
In general.
That's not how I appear in the world.
So your general vibe is very goofy.
I'd say I'm chill.
Very nonchalant.
I'd say I'm chill.
Pretty chill. Definitely offbeat,
I'd say I'd like to.
but in a charming way.
I'd say I'd like to get people uncomfortable, but not in a necessarily malicious way. To get them out of their comfort zones a little bit, I'll touch your nips. I will.
Right.
Even if I've just met you, I will touch you, And I won't do it to make you uncomfortable. I'll gauge whether or not you feel comfortable if I were to touch you, but I will touch you.
And then you back off, or you keep going.
I'll back off,
depending on
and then
the
I'll come back and I'll
signals
touch you harder. Yeah.
You're picking up.
Yeah,
That's
especially
not
when
bad.
you're asleep, but yeah, pretty much.
Because this was getting into Billy Bush territory for a second there.
Yeah. Oh, did you say Bush?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's another thing you should know about me.
You like bushes?
Yeah, I like bushes. I like for any of you female cast members listening to this, I want you to go natural for me.
We've talked a little bit about girls in the past.
Yeah,
what would you say your approach is as far as romance and that whole scenario goes?
Yeah, the thing about women is all women love diamonds, right?
All right, no, come on, get real, Alex.
All right.
I'm
fine.
gonna push you here.
All right, it's actually kind of awkward. Sometimes when I go to approach a woman, right, I'll just say.
Well, let's even start before that. What is attractive to you? Why do you feel the need for female companionship?
All right, well, I really don't appreciate this culture of Princeton of people getting absorbed in a world of social media and talking about basic concepts all the time. And so whenever I find somebody who's a little bit fringe, a little bit out of the norm, with some attractive features on them, and I'm not a fuckboy either, so I can appreciate a girl for her mind and her soul and her wit and her humor and intelligence, obviously, because I'm not a bigot, but what I like to do is I like to establish a set number of features that I like about a girl, and then I'll go up to her and I'll be like, hey, I think you're really, really interesting. I feel like we share a lot in common, and I'd like to hang out with you more. And how do you feel about that?
Is that your line? Some
variation of that.
Yeah.
I'd say I go off of that, fairly often. It's subject to change, but that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That must work. I feel like that kind of thing works pretty well.
It gets to the point because there's a mutual inclination between both people when you meet, and I feel like you already kind of know the answer.
Right.
So might as well not beat around the bush unless you're trying to beat around the bush, if you know what I'm saying. But might as well just go right for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's. Yeah, I wish.
And I think women feel more respected that way because
definitely
you'll say I always usually say I don't want to step out of my bounds, or I'm sorry if I'm stepping out of my bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Give a little prerequisite.
Right.
And then but I think you're gorgeous. Yeah.
Right.
And that's it. And if they say no, they say no. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but what are you looking for? I suppose there's a range there, right? But
What am I looking for in in terms of romance, relationships, love? Am I looking for a hookup? I'm lost, man. I'm so lost.
Yeah.
So
I think everyone sort of is at this point.
This year-long
There's
relationship threw me off, though.
Confused things out there.
Yeah.
You were in a year-long thing?
I feel like I was in a year-long thing, and it was great. It was a year-long thing with this girl named J.
Cut this part out.
Yeah, I'll cut this part out too. But no, it's weird re-entering the world of sex and intimacy and relationships after deviating from a 12-month relationship. You know, you don't really know where to stand, and you kind of still feel intimate. Like, I always have considered myself somewhat monogamous, and I've always felt that way. I always kind of like that, you know. But I'm not into the culture, but I'm into the idea of friends with benefits a lot.
Right.
I really like that. As long as there's some sort of connection going on there, where you can have a good conversation with the other person. I really don't like this culture of I don't know, going on Grindr or Tinder, just going on the street and getting fucked and then never seeing the person ever again.
Well, because I'm very suspicious of sort of the opposite thing too, where friends of the opposite sex are obviously attracted to each other but never do anything about it just because our friendship blah blah blah. And it's well, maybe if you cross that boundary just to try it out, as long as you proceed as mature adults, yeah, we have this thing and it's really great, we don't want to fuck it up. But
I feel like people take sex too seriously also.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that can be the case.
And I think that sex has a lot of serious implications. I think that a lot of people are ingrained to believe that sex is more serious than it is. I think I'm one of those people. You know, I feel like
it is kind of serious.
It is. I tend to associate
it can
sex
be
with
very
emotions,
meaningful. There's a huge range of sexes.
Some people out there can't differentiate sex and love.
That's
I wouldn't
true.
say that that's the case for me, but I would say that ideally, if I were to find myself in a different timeline, I would like to find myself with a beautiful woman who I care about, who I take care of and look forward to taking out for dinner all the time and doing other things with.
Yeah.
That's my ideal scenario, you know. So I'm very much for romance and for relationships and for monogamy, but it's not a be-all, end-all.
Sure.
Yeah, that's where I find myself right now.
Yeah, that's pretty healthy, I think.
Yeah. It's just about experimentation, you know, because we're young. We're all gonna die. You're gonna die. I'm gonna die.
True that.
Yeah. You're gonna die. I don't know what. Yo, you're gonna die too. We're
Zane,
all gonna
do you know
die.
You're gonna die.
I'm never gonna die.
Or maybe you won't die, but I'll die. So you might as well just experiment in the time coming, right?
What do you think about transhumanism?
Transhumanism. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, how would you
thought
define?
I was going in one direction, then I went in a different
you
one.
really, you got me by surprise there. How would you define that? Give me a little more context.
Transhumanism, it's pretty broad, but I think the basic idea is through technology, through various mind-expanding media, we can transcend the traditional idea of what it means to be a human. And
I think it's bullshit.
I think, well, okay, I sort of agree with you,
Yeah.
but whether that means uploading your consciousness to a computer or having, a robot dick.
When we're getting to AI, yeah, dude, just show me a little pamphlet of some robot transitional penises that I could attach to myself, and maybe I'd be interested. I don't know. Maybe the lady would too. I don't.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it's the healthiest thing to do. I think that social media is kind of the downfall of the real human emotion, of visceral human connection.
You think so?
I think it is.
I feel like sometimes people are more honest via Facebook Messenger than they are in
and that's a damn shame.
Actual conversation.
I think that's a damn shame, because I agree. I've been that guy too. You know, I've been that
sure,
guy. You know,
yeah.
I think we've all been that guy at one point. But there's such a gratifying feeling. You walk up to someone in person, you look them in the face, you just say what's really on your mind, and before that, you're thinking to yourself, I'll never be able to build up the esteem to, talk to this person about what's really on my mind, and it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is just another outlet to make things easier, and you can get your point across, but at the end of the day, it's less interpersonal. So, yeah, I've been that guy. I've been that guy to write that little, heartfelt message on the messenger screen, a little Facebook bubble to the little lady back at home, right?
Right.
But if I had gone to the little lady in person, and I looked her right in her cute little eyes, right, or cute little doe eyes, and I told her what was really on my mind, then I think that things would have even been better, and I think that that's what people should strive to do.
Do you ever worry that you're too fixated on sex or just
No.
the idea of romance?
No, I don't think so. And it's difficult because I'll get a lot of people telling me that, oh yeah, you think too much with your dick. Well, no, that's not a lot of that's not too many people. It's like a few people. It's like a handful of people. But still, like, you get a lot of mixed opinions. Like, I would always consider myself, a romantic or a hopeless romantic, because that's just kind of how
You
I
seem
was.
like a hopeful romantic, maybe.
Well, I have some hope.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's hope for romance, but there's some hope left in there,
Sure.
I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep trucking. But yeah, I think that romance is something that should be cherished and saved, and it's gonna die out eventually because we're young and it's inevitable. And I think there's exceptions, obviously, but I think you should kind of expect. You should expect what, as in, to paraphrase Louis C.K., fall in love, fall out of love, fall shit out of luck. It's the most beautiful thing that could happen to you at a young age. It's a learning experience, I think it's the best thing to do. So I appreciate romance in that regard,
What is your parents' and your grandparents' relationship like? Or what, sort of what are your models?
Ooh.
How did you get this way, basically, is the question.
How was I conditioned? Let's see. I remember asking my dad when I was on a bike ride when I was 8 years old. I said, "Daddy, what do you think of casual sex?" And I had heard the term casual sex because I watched Friday the 13th, an R-rated movie, and I was 8 years old, and I shouldn't have been doing that. And my dad turns to me, knowing that I must have some inclination as to what sex is. I'm 8. I'm 8 years old. I've already had banged 30 girls at this point.
All right.
But and 12 guys. But no, yeah. He turns to me and he's
it's
like,
not a bad ratio.
Yeah, it's a good ratio. It's pretty decent. Yeah. But he turns to me and he's like, yeah, personally, I don't think it's the most healthy thing to do. But now that I'm older, occasionally I'll have a deep talk and he'll be like, look, don't go for anything serious. Just do. He's more realistic, So I get some mixed opinions as to what I should be going for. And so in terms of what I'm looking for now, I don't really know. I want some kind of connection, but
Are
without
your
being
parents
held
still,
down.
Are they together? Or?
Yeah, they're still together. Yeah, they can be together forever.
Forever. When did they get together? What age?
Let's see. My mom was 28. My dad was 30-something.
Okay.
30-something. Yeah.
The reason I ask is because
Long time.
My dad met my mom when he was, and vice versa, whatever, when he was 17, and she
Interesting.
was 20.
My parents got set up on a blind date, actually.
Wow.
That's how it happened. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that my mom is the only person my dad was ever in a relationship with.
Oh, capiche. I see what you're saying.
And so, when I'm thrown into this world of
So your dad
casual sex and
Yeah.
the street, whatever, it's like I have zero guidance other than I just found the right chick right away,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, definitely. My mom is God bless the woman. She's a Trump supporter and she's a conservative Catholic. So I got that influence on that side of my family. So from a young age, I think also I was around a lot of women. I understand the female psyche fairly well. Not to, be an
Pat
arbiter
yourself
of,
on the back too hard.
Yeah, not to pat myself on the back too hard or be an asshole. I'll be like, oh yeah, I understand everything that's on the woman's mind. But I was raised a lot in the presence of my grandma and my mom, so I think I was a little bit more sensitive to what was going on there. Which is why also I'm some guys can be kind of sexually aggressive in a playful way that women will appreciate, but I can't even really do that. Or a guy will tell a girl to shut up in a playful way. It's kind of hard for me to even do that.
Interesting.
And so I got my mom's Catholic side of the family kind of influencing my decisions on the street. And at first, I look at that casual hookup culture. I look at a person. I say, wow, this person is incredible. This person is a straight A student, got so much going on for them, brilliant, hilarious, down to earth. I can go on long walks with this person and get in the woods and have a great conversation with them. Then I find out, something about a casual hookup, and it used to bother me. It used to bother me a whole lot. Now I've come to terms with it.
What used to bother you?
The fact that somebody could easily have a casual hookup, so easily. And I don't know, was never really a thing for me. I always associated hookups with some sort of connection, some sort of ongoing friendship or something.
Versus
I'll never see you again.
And you fuck them.
Yeah, I hate that. I still kind of hate that idea,
It's just, my thing about it, it's not like there's anything morally wrong.
There's nothing
with
morally
it.
wrong
I feel like
with
we're
it.
evolved beyond that at this
Yeah.
point. But it's it's such an empty, like mechanical, chemical sort of
I feel like it sets
interaction that
a
it's
a
like-
precedent for when you do find something special and you have that in your past. Even if you don't regret it, and I'm not saying you should regret it because it's your life and you should live your life however you want to, but maybe it'll bring up some conflicting emotions when you do find something that really is meaningful that you cherish, you know? So it just adds, I think, in my opinion, a little bit more complication to everything.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it doesn't.
Maybe so, maybe
For
no.
for some people, maybe it doesn't. For me, it did, you know. But for other people, no. But yeah, that's usually where I find myself in regards to that situation.
Let me ask you a question about career and ambition.
Ambition.
Yeah, do you have ambition? Like, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to accomplish in your time
Sam.
on this earth?
Oh shit. You had to go there. You had to ask me about what I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, because just to me, the two major categories of life
All right. Do you want the
are like your relationships to other people and
my
the
relationship
things
to
you
myself and the
do.
world around me?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Do you want the generic? I'm gonna get this internship answer. Or do you want the?
no, not that answer.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, the
I want
other
to travel as much
one.
as possible. I want to get out in nature, and I want to go to places that are really, really, really unfamiliar. I want to go to Asia in particular. I want to get up in the mountains, and I want to live with the Sherpas for a little while. I'm gonna go to Nepal. I want to look at some like fractal Mandelbrot designs. I want to make a tapestry. I want to find the fucking Yeti. I want to travel to Cuba. I want to travel all over the Caribbean, and I just want to keep on traveling and eating good food and living my life.
That's it. Just
I want to be a bit of a
travel
vagabond.
until you die.
Travel until I die. I also want to be around as many birds as possible. I love birds.
Are you
whoever's
serious about the
listening.
birds thing? You really
I
like
couldn't
birds?
be more serious. I have 300. No, what am I saying? I have 683 bird books on my 7 shelves back at home, New York City. So I have a shit ton of bird field guides. I want to take them. I want to travel, and I want to find
You're
nature.
like the Tai
be
Lopez
at peace.
of bird books, huh?
Yeah, honestly, knowledge.
Knowledge.
Yeah, it's all about knowledge, really. Yeah, and then I'll get my Lamborghini, but
Right.
I have the
Eventually.
knowledge. Yeah, exactly. I just want to accumulate enough knowledge, so that way I can accumulate enough Lamborghini. But yeah,
Damn straight.
yeah. What else you got for me? Now I'm getting excited. I'm getting aroused and
Wow,
excited.
Yeah, that really. Well, so we've talked a little bit in the past about TV and comedy and stuff.
Yes,
What
we
are,
have.
what are some of
We
your
have.
favorite guys? What do you like to watch?
You know,
I mean, I know you're hanging out with that whole.
I'm
terrace
hanging
TV
out
room
when you're hanging out with the whole
crowd,
terrace
but,
TV room crowd, and you're like,
I
yeah.
feel like you must have taste above and beyond that.
Yeah, I really like me some Stanley Kubrick.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, I really, really enjoy some Stanley Kubrick. I love Eyes Wide Shut. I think that was one of the first movies that convinced me that Tom Cruise is not an utter piece of shit. Even though he is now, I think he is again. Maybe it temporarily convinced me that he was, and now I think he's a piece of shit again. But yeah, he was good in that movie. That was a good movie. Same thing with what's her name? The Australian actress's name in that movie. Nicole Kidman. Yeah,
She's married to Keith Urban,
I know. Damn
who
shame.
lives in my hometown.
He lives so close, so close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
but
does he? I think so.
yeah, no, I don't know, but I mean I
Country
like
music.
I like Kubrick. I like Clockwork Orange influenced me from a really young age when I was real small. I saw that movie with my dad when I was 8
That
years
must be
old.
where all the violence and rape comes from.
Well,
in your
yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah, yep. Do we want to get into rape in this
I
first
don't think-
podcast?
I don't, not too closely.
Do the viewers want to hear about it?
I don't.
Probably.
What do you got?
I don't want to go there. But,
Yeah, I mean-
but I will say that scene in Clockwork Orange, the Singing in the Rain scene, really, really, really did deeply disturb me and influence my humor and my fears and everything in my subconscious. And yeah, it was great having my dad sitting next to me watching that when I was 8. That was cool.
What about Shining? Barry
Yeah.
Lyndon? Did you see Barry Lyndon?
I didn't see Barry Lyndon, but I like The Shining a whole lot. I like oh god, actress's name. What's her name? She's played Popeye's wife, Shelley Duvall. in
She's
Shining.
awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. I love her bug eyes. They're so buggy. You know? Ugh! Yeah, they kind of freak you out.
She had a really rough time on that set.
Why? What happened?
I think Stanley was just really hard on her.
Really good.
Maybe because that's like what it took.
Oh,
for
I
her
think
to
I read.
get into that
I think I read an
state.
interview. Yeah. He
I
like
don't
kind
know.
of freaked her out on purpose. He like
Yeah.
yell at her and scream at her. Yeah. I heard about that. That's good. That's good director work. It kind of reminds me of like Whiplash. You know.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah. Another good
Whereas-
film.
Jack is so crazy already. I don't know that he.
Well,
needed
Jack
too
already
much.
did his thing. I mean, he did LSD and climbed like 8 trees in like California in 1969. He's fine. Like he's crazy enough as is. So.
If you watch, there's a little documentary about him getting ready for the "Here's Johnny" bit.
Oh.
And
I've seen that.
He's like jumping up and down and doing push-ups and then swinging the axe around randomly in the room outside of the bathroom, right? And then he's
This
like,
is all just for fun. He's not even like.
well, no, I think that's what he does to get into character.
He's prepping, but it's also for fun.
It's also
he's
for
also
fun,
enjoying
right.
himself a whole lot with that axe, you know.
You know, it's funny. On the first episode of the BuddyCast, we actually talked about Kubrick, Ben Goodman and I. Do you know Ben? Okay.
Why the fuck would I know Ben?
Yeah, I guess not. He's a poet.
Really?
He's a senior. Yeah.
Oh, what does he write about?
Some nature. There's
Oh,
some nature in
some
there.
Nietzsche, huh?
Nature.
Some Nietzsche.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I like nature. I'm a nature guy, as you all know.
What about your TV intake? What's that like?
It's not too high, unless I'm in terrace, to be honest. In which case, I find myself wasting away the moments of my life and I end up in a little bit of a crippling depression sometimes when I'm in the back of the couch and I'm smoking my rolled cigarette and I'm looking at the TV and I realize the moments are passing quickly and quickly. And my sister's messaging me, and she's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm like, "I'm watching a little bit of Tim and Eric here," and it gets repetitive. So I try to cut that out of my life.
I think Tim and Eric is such garbage. I don't know.
I like that garbage. I like the garbage, but after a while, you just
can't
feel
do it.
dumb. You feel stupid. You know, it gets too much. It's too much.
So Ben and I talk about Terrace a lot,
Oh.
and how it's kind of
Oh.
great, but it's kind of also
All right.
toxic.
Yeah, it is a little bit toxic. Well, I love everything about Terrace. I'm not shit talking Terrace here, but I'd say that where the toxic elements arise from Terrace are like the pervasive silence that kind of happens in the TV room. I feel like a lot of people enter this state where they're not really sure if they should engage in a conversation or just kind of stare off at some stimulus, and so it's kind of hard because everybody feels that way. And some people feel as though there should be a conversation going, and then the other person doesn't feel like there's any impetus for that conversation, so they stare off the TV, and there's some weird, awkward exchanges, people will cut each other off, and you find yourself, losing time in a TV room.
Well, so to him, it's not just on a local level like that, where it's, oh, this conversation was weird and not satisfying, but it's, like, the TV room is the black hole of Princeton, and that's where, like,
Exactly.
once you've dropped to your
Exactly, like-
lowest point, like, that's where you go.
Yeah, like, I can't count the number of times I've had somebody initially try to engage in a conversation, and I'll respond, and then I'll look at the TV, and that'll be it. It'll be a mutual recognition that we're done speaking.
Right.
Not for any such reason, that is derived by any logic, or whatever, but, like, that's it. The stimulus
No,
is
I
there.
mean, but on a broader level, do you think there's, like, a sort of nihilism or hedonism that sort of is just overpowering in that environment? Or...
I think there's just a mutual recognition that...
Well, no, I mean, beyond the conversation.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about
Yeah,
conversation. I'm
okay.
saying I think there's like a mutual recognition that a lot of what potentially could be used as fodder for conversation is going to be bullshit, or is kind of unnecessary. So whenever I do hear conversation in the TV room, it's either something absurd, profound, or somewhere in the middle. So like it's going to be something that someone has to have said. It's like this needed to be said today.
Interesting.
There's like whenever I hear something in the TV room and it's like casual conversation, like there's always like kind of everybody else is like, oh, shut up. You kind
Right.
of get a little bit of that vibe. It's not really the best spot for casual conversation. I wouldn't say that.
Really? Because I feel like I hear so much of that, like, just horseshit in there.
I think it really depends on the dynamics. I mean,
Yeah.
like when you got Ashwin controlling the remote and you got everybody, and I don't know, when you got certain people in the room, the dynamic changes.
Right.
And everybody's honed in on one piece of stimulus, which is like, I
Oh,
don't know.
cut the names out. Cut the names.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
These are notes to me. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, it's just weird, man. I don't know. It's a very weird environment.
Yeah, I really started to enjoy the area by the balls room more. It's more social.
Couches,
I could talk to people more. I could go in and out.
It's not as claustrophobic.
Yeah, exactly. There's more space. I like
The balcony also.
I like the element of the big table right in the middle. It's more communal, and it's easy to eat food there, and it's just much less crunched. I'm starting to like dislike eating my dinner in the TV room now. I
Right.
used to love doing that.
So the tiered nature of it also makes it feel so performative. Like when you walk in there, you have to be ready to go. Kind of.
Exactly. When you walk in, I always kind of walk in, with some kind of punchline or something.
For people who don't have no idea what we're talking about, the TV room at Terrace is basically, it's this big...
it's the black hole, for instance.
Yeah,
as you
well,
described
so
it.
there are a bunch of couches set up around a flat screen TV.
They're pretty dirty, those couches.
And there are, I guess, 2 tiers in the room of couches. There's a back area that's slightly higher. And a lot of substance abuse goes on in there.
Oh yes, a lot of substance abuse, not too much conversation, and a lot of interesting TV, a lot of very cringy stuff. Sometimes the cringy stuff brings people together in the sense that we all laugh and we're like, wow, we can universally agree that this is cringy. Then you can't really form a dialogue from that,
I feel like a voyeur in there sometimes. Like, I'm not really a part of that burnout community quite. That may be offensive to
hey, fuck you, dude.
the TV room sensibilities, but I like to go in there for a little vacation from real life. Does that make sense? Definitely.
That's how I feel very, very often. I mean, when I sit down
but maybe there are people in there who spend all their time there who might think the same thing.
I know a kid who wrote a thesis in there, It happens. Like, I don't know how there's these outliers who somehow function in such a way that they can, navigate that area totally fine. But when I go in there, I almost go in there with the implicit, inclination that, I don't know, I'm going to have to change my behavior when I enter this room. Not necessarily in a bad way. Sometimes it's subconscious too, but I'll walk in there and I kind of will expect certain people to be in there. I'll kind of expect to know how to deal with them or how to interact around them, and then there's a deviation. It's different than walking around the rest of the house for sure. It's almost like there's little rules in the TV room, like kind of unspoken rules.
Right. No, totally. But people, there are rules in every social environment.
Sure.
Whether or not you know what they are.
Very, very specific rules, though, the TV room.
And I think, I don't know. I feel like the TV room is unnecessarily maligned in some circles. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, I've heard that a few times. Somebody mentioned, you got your normal chillers, you got your genius chillers, and then you got you got the chillers then you look into their eyes and you see nom eyes, like the 1,000-yard stare.
Right, exactly.
You got those. So there's that.
I
stigma,
think that's perfectly accurate.
Yeah, I think it's definitely kind of accurate. I wouldn't disagree. And a lot of those nom-eyed kids are brilliant and geniuses, and I've been there myself. But hey. TV room is the TV room. Yeah, I'm a brilliant. Fuck God, dude. I'm way more brilliant than him. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's.
You made this stupid ass world, right?
Yeah, you made this stupid ass human that I find myself in.
I had the King of Terrace, Nick Horvath, tell me recently that I was an enigma.
In what sense of the word? How are you mystery? What's mysterious? I mean, you are mysterious, but.
Well, so I feel like the most horrifying thing about being perceived as an enigma is knowing that there's really nothing underneath it. It's like, everybody, there's at least a slight disconnect between how they think of themselves and how everybody else
perceives them. Sure.
Sees them.
Sure, definitely.
But when somebody is a mystery, the assumption is that, there must be a ton of stuff bubbling under whatever we see on the outside.
Not necessarily bad stuff,
No, of course not. But the worry of the enigmatic person is that they're just not that interesting.
I think within the context...
Beyond the mysterious surface.
I think within the context of the TV room, being enigmatic has its pros. I feel as though
there's a lot of oversharing that goes on in there.
Yeah. I feel like oftentimes, a lot of people will enter that environment with a very boisterous attitude and kind of assert their dominance and be very loud and talk and on about kind of menial things, which is not bad. It's great. They can keep conversation going, blah, blah, blah. And then you have your people who are more interested in talking about very specific things, music. Some people almost exclusively talk about music. And you have people who won't talk at all. And so when you're an enigma, you're not really thrown into those groups. It's kind of hard to read you. And it's very easy to read a lot of people in the TV room, oddly enough.
Yeah, I think that's true. I certainly have always resisted the either pressure or expectation to like fall into a specific social group. I mean, since like
I would say the same thing.
middle school, high school, like I
Yeah.
think it's dumb.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Even like in relation to like menial things, like if a song comes on and it's a very hackneyed, overplayed song or something, and I'll see my bud looking at me like, and I'm dancing, I'm like kind of bumping to it, and
Right.
like, yeah, this is great. My friend will be like hipster, and he'll be like, oh, dude, like what are you doing? Like God is dead. Like you can't listen to that music. Yeah, and like there'll be a little bit of a discrepancy or something. But I just like to have fun. I'm the kind of guy who likes to have fun. You know.
Uh-huh.
I respect myself. I respect other people, but I like to have some fun from sometimes.
feel
Yeah.
You like to have fun.
Yeah, I like to have a lot
You
of
like
fun.
to have some
Yeah,
fun.
consensual fun.
Consensual.
Yeah, yeah. It's always consensual. I promise.
That's a good promise to make.
Yeah, yeah. It's a promise that I can probably keep.
Did you run in high school? Have we talked about this before?
No, man.
You're a skinny guy.
My lungs are in real bad shape. My lungs have been in
I
bad
wonder
shape
why
for a
that
while.
is.
Yeah, yeah. They,
What could that have to do with
I don't know.
anything?
I'd probably be asbestos. Probably.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
must be it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
All that asbestos you're smoking.
I remember one time I ran over the summer, and I was running, and I'd not run for 5 years, and so my calves and my thighs started itching, and there was a cold sweat, and this itch permeated my skin. It felt like my bones were itching, so I collapsed onto the floor.
And you're like, let's go ahead and never do that again.
Yeah, and so after that, I got back up. I started running a little bit more, and then a car ran over my toe, actually.
Oh,
And then I
wow.
was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. That kind of did it.
cinched
Yeah,
it.
that did it. Yeah. Yeah. I got like real bad swamp ass, and my crotch was all moist. I mean, my crotch is
Plus
like
your toe
often
is
moist,
run
but
over.
my toes run over also. But what really bothered me was like how moist my crotch was.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't like that.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like a sweaty crotch or
Really?
sweaty ass.
Interesting.
Sweaty bunghole. It's not fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
Yeah. So Gold Bond, guys. It's your best friend or worst enemy, depending on how you look at it. But
Depending on what side you're on.
yeah, two sides of the same coin.
Um.
Let me crack open another one.
So what do you? I feel like sometimes in the terrace TV room environment, it's hard to separate, and maybe Princeton and college in general, it can be hard to separate work and play. Would you agree with that?
I find
sort
that
of assessment?
in the TV room.
Do you need me to help you with that?
Yeah, I definitely need you to open up your. I find that in the TV room, like there's some exceptions. There's some people who are really diligent who always come at a certain time after their work. I won't say any names, but I know of a few people who will come at like 9 to 11 p.m. like on the dot and then leave. They're very regimented. But I often hear.
That's a compliment, though.
Yeah.
So who falls in?
That's cool. But I often hear at the same time, more often than not, like, I don't need to go to this precept.
Right.
Or, should I go to this precept? I'm comfy.
They're asking somebody
I'm
to
comfy
excuse
as
them
is.
from.
And it's like justification.
work.
It's a lot of it's just justification. That's it. And so I think that's kind of vitriolic in a way, because it really does take away from.
I think that's not quite the word you want to use. Vitriolic.
No, it's the word that I want to use.
Okay.
It makes me disgusted. I think it's vitriolic, because I see it possibly happening to myself occasionally. I feel that pull, feel that urge, and it's poisonous. So I'm like one of the biggest proponents of the TV room. I love it, but I will say that a lot of kids have a tendency to be able to just kind of pass out or.
Well, so you need to learn how to separate that world from real life, or at least your working life.
It just
whatever
gets
you
easy to
call it.
justify it though. Oftentimes, it's
Oh
easy.
man, all
Yeah.
that other stuff is bullshit. I'm just gonna stay here.
Or like procrastination too. Like, no, it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter if it's here another 3 hours. I'll still get my shit done at like 2 when I get back to my room.
Mhm.
Like, it's not optimal.
Yeah,
It's not
true.
optimal. And people can handle it. I'm not saying people can't. It's a great thing. But
there's so
not
many.
for everybody.
There's such a variety of types that
Yeah.
pass through there that it's like you can't take those who can handle it as a model necessarily.
Exactly.
Right.
No, you have to be your own model. And I don't know. I go to terrace almost every day. Pretty much every day, and I do get a sense of FOMO when I'm not there, for whatever reason, probably for arbitrary reasons. But I don't know. I definitely feel that, and I feel like a lot of people feel that.
Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot of roommates of mine and other close friends who've joined terrace told me initially I don't want to get into a habit of going there every single day or too often, because I don't want to become slug and just smoke all day and, you know, not get anything done.
Right.
And right now they're in the intermediary stage where they're still getting everything done, but now they're coming every day or almost every day after, you know, kind of saying to me, you know, that will never happen. And so it's very easy to slip into that pattern.
Yeah,
It's very easy to come every day, even if you convince yourself I'll come for like an
you
hour.
can really trick yourself,
Yeah.
especially if externally you're getting everything
Yeah.
right. You're performing all your societal duties.
Yeah, exactly. And like Terrace F Club is kind of like it's kind of like a tab of acid. I mean, like time doesn't exist in that place.
Right.
You know, there's no such thing as time in that place. Like, you know, once you walk in, an hour becomes 4 hours. You know, and you really do lose track of that time because there's a lot of stimulus going on. There is.
I always found that fundamentally weird how people think like they can sit down in a place. Well, I mean, I'm just very different, where people are, you know, smoking or whatever and think that they can just get their work done and like it's all the same or whatever. I think you wind up being much less efficient.
Even in the library in Terrace, you know,
And
there's a
you're
lot
never quite relaxed and you're never quite working.
you're in that weird kind of, you know. I
It's a
don't know.
liminal space.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
You're in
it
that
is.
weird kind of state, you know, that weird, I don't know, that weird place where you're like, yeah, this will get done, and I'm halfway through, but it's gonna get done at like 4 a.m. It's not gonna get done here or now.
Right.
So it happens fairly often.
Uh-huh.
I've
Surely.
witnessed that a lot. It's happened to me before. It happened to me yesterday. My poetry assignment.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, that's college.
Yeah. To some extent, it's college, but
You know.
you know, to some extent, like you shouldn't let it take over your life either, because I've seen it happen.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we're with each other on this.
Yeah.
I
I think I'm with you on a lot of things, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm with you, on you, in you, like in your mind. Yeah. Yeah, in your mind, not in you. I'm not gonna enter you yet.
I
But-
mean, we have before, but
Did you want to talk about that, like right now in this podcast?
we can save that for the sequel.
All right, good.
Yeah.
We'll get into the graphic details then.
Uh-huh.
That was fun. That was fun. I'll never look at a bottle of red wine the same way.
What else do I have for you here?
Give me some juice. Give me some good stuff.
Some
Give me
juice.
some of that. Give me some. Give me a question that's gonna blow my ass mind.
Oh, jeez. What are you reading right now? What's on your bedstand?
Wow, interesting.
So to speak.
You know, this is actually a very good question. So, my room has a lot of pre-games, because we got a Old Math Soul, we got a bunch of other clubs. Whenever I take a shit in my bathroom, right, I have a stack of bird books in there. Birds of Peru, I got a signed copy of it.
Dude, you're a bird fanatic.
I am. Birds of Peru, somebody threw up in the bathroom, unfortunately, recently, and they got a little vomit on my signed copy. My signed copy of Schellenberg's Birds of Peru.
Well, you did put it in the bathroom.
Yeah, for someone to not vomit on, you know.
Okay.
For me to shit and read my books, you know. So I am way tweaked out about that, and I want to find the person who did it, and I want to inflict physical pain upon them. Should we cut that out?
No,
Okay, cool.
Not at all.
Cool. Yeah, I'll find you, whoever you were.
So to give you an idea of how blue we get on this podcast, I once told a guest that her vagina was smelly.
Was it?
Yeah, at one point.
In that moment? Was it hot? Was it?
Not right then. No.
Oh, but you had previously had an encounter with her in which you.
Yeah, well, that was
recognized-
actually the starting character of our relationship. Was
Oh.
that
Oh.
I found her a little smelly, but otherwise inoffensive, and she thought that I hated her.
Yeah, you know, I think it's funny. Like my relationship with my ex, like, kind of picked up after I. Was,
Which
like,
ex was this, man?
Man, my first true
Your number
love.
one.
My first true love. Yeah.
I got you.
That's long in the past now, but I'd always call her sweaty. I'd be like, "Oh, you're sweaty, dude. Super sweaty today." She'd be like, "Oh, you're sweaty today," and then
I think that's pretty funny.
yeah, and then we'd sweat together, and our bodies would intermingle in a beautiful orgy of sweat. And you know, we got a lot of humor out of the gross things, and I appreciate that.
I think that's healthy.
I think it is healthy to laugh off some of the more cringy things or things that would make people generically uncomfortable. Because there's no need.
The thing is, if you don't acknowledge these things, they wind up being sublimated into your
yeah, exactly.
quote-unquote normal actions or behavior.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so if you don't pick them out and go like, haha, that's weird or that's funny, you're just gonna wind up acting like a freak. At
Just
some
gotta
point.
get everything out in the open. I think
Yeah.
open communication is the most important thing in a relationship and a friendship in any context, any given context. You know, just having a dialogue where both people are on the same page.
Like we're doing right now, bro.
Exactly. I'm talking to you, right? You're talking to me. You're sending some brilliant ideas to my brain, and my synapses are firing at like 1 billion miles per hour right now. Okay. Yeah, I'm having flashback after flashback.
Amazing.
But yeah, no, I think open communication is one of the most important things in any kind of relationship, be it a platonic one or a romantic one. And I think that talking about things that are uncomfortable is the healthiest thing to do. This is why I let it boil up inside of you and wait until the end when everything explodes.
That's pretty sad to
Right?
do that. Right?
Yeah, it happens way too often. It's so common, you know. I think it's really cool to put uncomfortable things out in the open, to say them, to kind of laugh about them, you know. Like I'm trying to think. I put my this girl called me gross, and I put my thumb up her ass, before she called me gross, like I don't know, like 30 minutes before, and I was like, hey, like I put my thumb up your ass. Like, what are you calling me? Like, maybe that other people would perceive that as gross. Like, you don't know what's gross. Like, you know.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, did she request the thumb?
Yeah, she did. And
Okay,
then
so there you So there you go.
Eventually, it became 2 thumbs, but yeah, she requested multiple fingers and thumbs.
Amazing.
And yeah, so both holes were penetrated, and it was cool. But
What's your
yeah,
policy on the ass? What do you think about that?
I really, really enjoy the bung hole. I really, really like playing with bung holes, and I really like I like getting deep in there and putting my fingers around them and my whole face and my tongue, and getting real in there and getting real deep, because it's primal and it's kind of nasty in like a sexy way, and like a naturalistic kind of primal way, and like, oh, you know, it's just like, wow, like, ooh, like you're an animal. You're basically down to your ape-like instincts, you know, just licking each other's bungholes. Yeah. So I'm into licking her bunghole.
I love
If
it.
that's what you're looking for, if that's the answer you're
Yeah, that was the answer I was
yeah.
looking for.
Yeah. That's what I'm into. I also love the bush. I love a bush in a woman.
Yeah, we got that
Yeah,
already.
you got that already, but you need to reiterate. I mean, I didn't reiterate it. You need to hear it again. You know.
I believe you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I could tell you would too. You're a pretty hairy man.
I'm a hairy guy.
I could see you appreciating a little hair in a
I
woman.
do appreciate.
Yeah, you do.
But you know, both are good, really.
What if she was
Either or
gorgeous?
both.
What if she was Kate Winslet? What if she was
different? I don't. Some young women it works for, and some it doesn't. So I think it's a case by case basis. To be honest.
I don't think I'd ever refuse a woman because of
Real
because of a bush. But
No, of course not.
if there was a
Yeah.
lack of bush, I might refuse actually.
Interesting.
Considering, but there would also have to be another circumstance involved. Like I wouldn't just be like, oh no, you don't have anything down there. No, you can't. No,
That seems
I was
like-
expecting something. Like, oh no, no. There has to be like, I don't know. There has to be some hesitancy behind the actual act of having sex before I do it. It's not just bush or no bush, and that's deal or no deal. It's not like that. It's a totally different thing. But
I love it.
But yeah.
Amazing.
That's my perspective on the bush. It's rare. It's going endangered. It's going extinct.
It is. Well, I'm doing my part.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate you doing your part
to
too.
keep body hair alive.
Yeah. Your treasure trail is one of the most incredible things I've seen on this campus in a long, long time. And I'm lucky to know you.
I'm lucky to know you too, man.
Yeah, dude.
I really get a lot out of our friendship.
Yeah. No, I definitely get a lot of our friendship. It's strange. I get a lot of different things out of our friendship. I get a lot of unusual things out of our friendship that are not conventional. I don't know. I feel like I could bridge the gap from a nonsensical kind of non sequitur into a really good conversation really easily.
Yeah, it is weird, right?
You know?
That I feel like every conversation between us starts as like
Yeah, it's almost like
something totally meaningless and ridiculous,
and it flows into
and
something
then
meaningful.
proceeds. Yeah, right.
It will, and there's a mutual recognition that it will. We never kind of just bullshit each other, Sam. You know, we always have some kind of motive, always some kind of positive motive at the end of it all.
Surely.
You know, yeah. I like you. You know what? You're cute. You're nice. This guy is extremely funny. The funniest guy I know on campus, and he's single right now, if I believe.
Yeah, true. Fact.
Yeah. So all you little cuties on Tinder might want to get swiping to the left.
Did I tell you? I already told you this story.
Uh,
I went on a Tinder date with a ballerina last night.
Oh, how limber was she?
She's pretty limber.
Yeah. So you groped her from the outside of the clothes, right?
Well, I'm not sure I'd put it quite so delicately.
So delicately. Okay.
That was sarcasm. No, but you know, a little walk, a little smooch.
Yeah, a little smooch. That's
I
all
think
you
that's
need,
a good.
It's a great start.
A good move.
Yeah.
That's a good initial, because you know, walks I think are perfect for conversation.
I think that honestly, when I knew I was in love, I think that you know that you're in love when there's a lack of stimulus around, except for the other person, and there's just a back and forth.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
that's
all.
good stuff.
And you're happy. You're just that's it. You're not.
Well,
focusing on
unless
anything
it's
else.
you know sort of too facile or
Unless it's what?
sort of the conversation is nonsense banter.
Well, I mean,
don't
I
know.
think that you kind of know from the start. You know, you just perceive that as nonsense, and you're like, I
maybe,
get it.
Maybe so.
But you know, if you're in that situation where there's nothing really going on, you're not going to see a movie, you're not going to, I don't know, you're not planning on going to do anything in particular. You're just walking with that person. You're happy, fully content. You know, I think that's a good sign.
I think the sort of urge or the pressure to have an event or an activity is sort of misplaced.
Yeah, I think it kind of deviates and takes away from romance. I think romance in and of itself is very simple. I think the essence of romance is one of the most simple and complex and beautiful things about humankind. And I think being able to laugh about flaws, being able to laugh about things like a pimple or like being sweaty or like little human things, very human things are the essence of romance. You know, little things, being able to talk about things that you're really uncomfortable about and turning into a joke, both laughing about it and then kissing afterwards and accepting it, you know. I think that's one of those beautiful things about romance.
I agree, dude.
Putting it all out in the open, you know, and there's no hesitation because oftentimes in friendships, you know, friendships can be stilted, conversation can be stilted, even subconsciously. In true love, it's not stilted. Everything comes out, you know. At least in my experience, if I have experienced true love, which I think I have, you know.
I think that is a beautiful place to end on.
I totally agree.
And I hope we have some love here. I think we do.
I think we have a lot of love, Sam. Whenever I look into your eyes, all I see is pure love. And believe me, I'm always looking into your eyes.
All right, I think that's a successful BuddyCast right there.
I think it is too.
I'm gonna call it.
This is good.
Call it right there.
Let's call it, bro.